Hi, I'm Bernice Rulin and welcome to my kitchen. I'm a Pampered chef, independent consultant in the United States. And today we're going to make a Dutch baby in our 10-inch cast iron pan. We're going to top it with strawberries, blueberries, and homemade whipped cream. So right now I'm preheating the oven to 425 degrees and I have my 10-inch cast iron skillet in the oven to preheat. Just before we're going to pour the batter in, we're going to take it out, put some butter in it, let it melt, swirl it around the pan, and then the batter we're going to make right now, we're going to pour in the pan and then put that in the oven. So I'm going to put my blueberries and my strawberries aside for now because we don't need them until a little later when we serve it. This is my 8-inch cast iron pan. We're currently using our 10-inch one, and that one currently is in the oven at 425 degrees to preheat. It's a 10-inch pan. If you wanted to, you could make it in our 5-inch pans and make a little smaller, more personalized sizes, or just take the recipe in half and just make half the serving. Okay, so there's not many ingredients for this at all. I've got 3 eggs, and as always I pre-mix my eggs before I start. It's also a great way to make sure you check to see if any eggshells escaped on you. I got a little bit of milk. Okay. Really, this is a bigger bowl than I need. This is kind of like our everyday mixing bowl. Has a nice spout in it to pour the batter into the pan. You can also measure along the side. Has a nice handle. And this is the large one. It's 8 cups, and we do have a smaller one that I just don't have out right now. So we would just mix our eggs, our milk. I got a little bit of homemade vanilla. I like to make my own vanilla. It's really easy. You just select your choice of alcohol, vodka, rum, whiskey, and then your pick of vanilla beans. There's different types. And put a couple vanilla beans in it, put it somewhere where it's dark and cool, and just let it sit for a few months. And then you got homemade vanilla. Okay, we got some sugar, a little bit of salt, because you always need some salt to bring out the flavor. Again, this is pretty much as simple as it comes. I think this is a great recipe if you are new to using cast iron. This is a great recipe to start with because there are not many ingredients, and it's fun to eat. And then we've got a little bit of flour. The other thing I would recommend to start with would be something like a cornbread, biscuits. You know, those are great starter recipes if you are new to cast iron. I got a little bit of flour popping up there. Won't hurt anything. Very simple batter to make. Just using a whisk to whisk everything together. Like I said, I'm just going to pour this in the 10-inch cast iron pan. Once it's been preheated in a 425 degree oven. I'm going to put some butter in it first, though, let that melt. Obviously, I'm going to take it out with pot holders because it will be, obviously, it's going to be hot. Then I'm going to put it in the oven for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to reduce the oven down to 350 degrees, and then I'm going to let it just bake another 5 minutes. And while that is going on, I'm going to wash and slice my strawberries, get my blueberries ready, and we get all my toppings ready. And then I'll make my homemade whipped cream for it. And then by then it's probably going to be ready to come out of the oven to enjoy. So, you know, that's another great way to save time, is while things are baking, especially a fun dessert like this. You prepare your other ingredients so when it comes out of the oven, you're ready for it. So the batter looks nice and smooth. I said, it's probably one of the easiest batters I've ever made. I'm not going to actually film the part where I pour this into the hot pan. I think you can probably visualize what that will look like. But I will show you the final product and what it looks like just before we enjoy it. I'll have to take a quick couple pictures because sometimes these things tend to go fast. So you got to get your pictures and your videos in before it's all gone. Okay, so like I said, we'll go on to our next step, which is the cast iron pan and the oven. Our Dutch baby is in the oven right now cooking. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our strawberries. I've already pre-washed them and dried them. I'm just going to quickly cut off the stems. I'm using a plate instead of a cutting board only because strawberries tend to bleed juice all over the place. So I'm just going to use a plate to protect my wooden cutting boards and also my plastic ones, because sometimes it even can be hard to get that red stain out of your cutting boards. But this will work. I am using my coated Pampered Chef utility knife. This thing is amazing. If you don't, for some reason, maybe want different cutting devices, but you just want to use knives, we have a whole set of these, different sizes. They are unbelievable. They cut through anything. And they make short work of everything you're doing. Okay, so just gonna clean up a little bit here. The knife I will just quickly wash and dry and then put away. You don't put that knife in a dishwasher. I got my quick slice. I probably should have brought my, oh yeah, I got one more bowl here. Let me put these back in this bowl to kind of keep my workstation a little neater here. It will get a little messy from the strawberries, but it will be so worth it. I'm going to use my quick slice. It's got a generous base. It's got the V-shaped blades. There's 11 serrated blades. This really is designed for softer foods like mozzarella cheese, eggs, strawberries, mushrooms. You kind of get the point. You would not use this for, say, carrots or potatoes because you might actually damage the blades. It's really meant for softer foods. So then you just put your strawberries in here. You can put them in any direction you want. I'm going to probably stay away from some of the, you know, sometimes you get a couple of strawberries that aren't the greatest, so maybe we'll stay away from a couple of those. Put them in there, and then you just take your quick slice top, and just like that, we've got our strawberries sliced. This is also fantastic for tomatoes. So if you like tomatoes on sandwiches, tomatoes on hamburgers, whatever it might be, this makes quick work of them, and it cuts everything to 7 millimeters is your width. So you can have nice consistent sizes. I made a really delicious blackberry smoothie bowl in my deluxe cooking blender, and it had bananas in it, it had cashews in it, and I topped it with some beautiful bananas and some cashews, you know, just make it really, you know, the smoothie bowls are meant to look really pretty. They should be just so attractive. And I put a banana in here, and it just, this one is a little old, it just sliced it beautifully, and you know, it was just so uniformed, and it just presented so nicely. You know, food should be really pretty when you're serving it, you know, it should look good. You want people to want to enjoy it. You know, we actually, part of our enjoyment of food is just the appearance and how it looks and the aromas. That is just so important. So see, beautiful. So I barely spent any time, and I just took a container of strawberries, used my quick slice, started with my, my coated utility knife, quickly trimmed off the ends, put them in here, and in no time they're sliced, they're perfect. Imagine how long it would take to slice all those by hand. However, if for some reason you don't like the tools, or maybe you don't have the room for them, or they're not in your budget right now, a set of these coated knives, there's all different sizes in a whole set of them, will also make short work of your strawberries. Not as short as this, obviously, because you've got 11 blades. Think about that. You got 11 blades cutting all at the same time, making everything perfectly uniform. Perfect if you're going to make like a strawberry cake or a pie. The more uniform, the better. But this will be absolutely perfect for our Dutch baby. And I'm going to put these aside because I think it's about time for me to lower the oven to 350 degrees. This is dishwasher safe. On the top rack, put in a dishwasher. I recommend washing this in the dishwasher, not by hand, because these are 11 blades. They are sharp, so it is best to put this in the dishwasher. And I also don't wash it between use. So for example, if I've got several things to slice, I'll figure out the order from what is the most cleanest to slice with this versus what leaves more of a mess, like mozzarella cheese, mushrooms, things like that. I would always leave to the end. But strawberries, bananas, there's certain things you cut that are fairly clean and you can keep using it. But otherwise, pop this in the dishwasher, cleans up really easy, and then you've got your little bottom for it that protects it when you put it away. And you have your non-stick little feet on the bottom, so this, my plate's moving, but this isn't moving, it's actually the plate. So you saw as I was doing this, this was nice and sturdy. Okay, on to finishing our Dutch baby. Now we're going to make our whipped cream topping. Got my Pampered Chef whipped cream maker. You can make whipped cream using a blender. The reason I got this is because I often need to make homemade whipped cream when I'm not at home, and I do get a little tired of carrying everything with me. So this is a little easier. I start with a cup of whipping cream, not whole milk, whipping cream, 1 cup, chilled. I have a tablespoon of powdered sugar. And then for a little bit more flavor, just put a little bit of my homemade vanilla in here. Yep, I don't always measure things, as you can see. I'll put this out of the way. Okay. This just fits in here. Okay. And we're gonna make sure, see this unlocked, and this is locked, so it should be locked. And then, that's all you have to do. And you will do this until you get to your desired thickness. The fat in the whipped cream, heavy creams, is what will give you your whipped topping. You do need the fat. So if you try to use something with a lot less fat, it's just not going to work. And you can see how quickly this is already starting to whip together. Let's see what we got here so far. Unlock it. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're definitely getting there. We're definitely getting there. I'd like it a little thicker. A little thicker. I'll just relock it. Here we go. And then once you get to that desired thickness, you can then serve it. Oh yeah, this is coming out nice. Look at that. That is coming out really nice, really nice. I think I am really at my desired thickness for it. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. And next we're going to make up our Dutch baby. Or you could use this for obviously any topping that you would like to use it for. Okay, our Dutch baby is out of the oven. You'll notice it's probably just a touch browner along the edges than I'd like it to be. I noticed that it was cooking a little faster than the recipe called for. It asked for 20 minutes at 425 degrees. My oven must run a little hotter, so at about 16, 17 minutes, I dropped it down to 350 just for a couple more minutes, and I also rotated the pan. But you know, this is real cooking, which is why I'm showing you that it did come out browner than I'd like it to, but it's still gonna be really good. And what I would say, if you make this, I probably would cook it, just bake it a little less, maybe instead of putting in it for 20, maybe start checking it at 14, 15 minutes, just because cast iron really does retain the heat. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to enjoying this. So what are we gonna do? So this is where the fun comes in. So remember, your cast iron is hot, so you do want to be careful about not touching it. I'm just going to put some strawberries around it. That would be a nice little touch. Strawberries are always fantastic. I like a lot of strawberries, so I probably would put more than maybe recipes would call for. Let's put a little bit of, okay, so let's put a lot of blueberries. There's no such things as little when I'm cooking. Now we made our whipped topping already. And we're gonna take the lid off, and it's gonna be a little full. A little full. Okay, perfect. Just gonna take some of this out. That's my whipped topping. You can see how nice that came out. I'm going to put a little bit on for presentation, but I think serving it is more where you're going to get, where you're going to really get your enjoyment from it. Now the next thing we can do, because it might start to melt, that's what I'm trying to think of. Put just a little bit of powder. You know, these little, Pampered Chef has one with little handles, which are a little easier to use. You can put a little of that on. Do you like a little cinnamon sugar? You know, you can put a little bit of that on, especially over the whipped topping is always pretty. But you know, just that quickly, you have a nice little dessert. Healthy dessert does have some eggs in it. And that's your Dutch baby. Your Dutch baby. And like I said, my only recommendations is just check it a little sooner, maybe even drop the temperature down a little bit in the oven, because the cast iron pans do retain the heat. And I hope you enjoy your Dutch baby.